about this. Excuse me, there is an interruption. The taxing district, the management did not resolve the potential financial problems during this year's report too. Specifically, the auditor's report for the Waste Treatment Plant Fund included an emphasis paragraph describing an uncertainty regarding the fund's ability to continue as a going concern, which is an accounting term to describe potential insolvency of the fund. The note that the fund's financial statement stated that the fund's management is in the process of addressing how it will fulfill the fund's obligation given its economic dependence on private corporation, which closed in its operation as of June 30th, 2019. Excuse me. Next, we will highlight the follow-up action we took. We sent a letter describing the areas of non-compliance with the audit guidelines noted during our review to each local government and its independent auditors, requesting correction for future audits. The local governments that failed to file audit reports for fiscal year 2020, 21, and 22 was reported to the Executive Director of the Department of Legislative Services. If these reports are not filed, the Comptroller of Maryland, acting upon the advice of the Executive Director, is authorized by law to discontinue the payment of all funds, grants, or state aid to which the local government is entitled. The areas of non-compliance with the state law related to unsecured cash deposits, our office requested the applicable local government to provide written description of the action to be taken to eliminate the condition when appropriate. We reviewed and evaluated the responses to these requests that we received to date and found the indicated actions are sufficient. Additionally, as requested by the committee, when the letter were sent to the local government regarding non-compliance with the state law, copies of the letters were also sent to the appropriate member of the Maryland General Assembly representing the district where the local government is located. We also make presentation on our desk review results to this committee every year. In conclusion, the Office of Legislative Audit functions in an oversight capacity by issuing audit guidelines, reviewing local government audit reports for compliance with the standards and regulations, and notifying the local government and their auditors of any deficiencies noted. We believe that these efforts have helped improve the quality of audits and have promoted fiscal accountability among local government in Maryland. To further improve the quality of local government audits, the Office of Legislative Audit participates in various efforts to make technical information available to local government and respond to technical inquiries from local government and their auditors. Thank you very much for your assistance in discharging our monitoring responsibilities of local government financial condition. We are happy to answer any question you may have on this presentation. Thanks.
Thank you for your presentation. Do we have questions from the committee members? How about you, Mr. Chair?
Okay, thank you, Madam Chair. So, Mr. Doza, you talked about a couple of items as far as authorities, towns, cities that don't really comply, various, I'll say, results of non-compliance. You mentioned the state withholding funds through the Controller's Office. And there's also in the law, different incorporated entities could lose their charter. That means that their government will be dissolved. And you talked about an accounting term, going concern, which the accounting reports and delinquencies and deficiencies might lead to that concern. So I wasn't quite sure when you talked about going concern. Does your audit reports list those, are we referring to incorporated towns or cities that their accounting practices, financial practices elicit that watch as far as a going concern, whether they should stay incorporated?
No. What we said about the going concern issue is related to only one report, that is the Upper Potomac River Commission, and it is one of the fund. It has a significant deficit, and it has been in the same way since 2019. And the management responded to us. They are trying to find a solution to this problem. And so far, based on the latest information we had, the corporation which used to run the paper mill in Luke, Maryland, is still funding a limited operation of the waste treatment plant. So that's why they are continuing reporting on that. The report will not stop until the problem resolved or the taxing district
Okay, thank you for that.
declare insolvency.
Okay, great. Thank you for that. Could you reach out to the chairs of this committee with that particular issue in an email format so we can look at it to have a deeper dive, possibly, please?
Yes.
Offline. Okay, great. Thank you so
And,
much. Thank you, Madam Chair.
I could just add to that specifically about that particular issue. Is there anything that this committee is obligated or is suggested that we do? So that would be helpful to include in there. If it's not from you, then maybe from committee staff.
Our responsibility is to evaluate the financial statement that we receive and report it to you. Maybe the more responsible agency is the Department of Environment. You may talk to them and talk to the management of the Upper Potomac River Commission. That is what we suggest, but we don't have any other option or prepared to answer at this time.
No, of course. If you send us what we requested, then we will talk with Department of Legislative Services and see where we go from here. Would you agree with that, Mr. Chair? You are muted, sir.
Yes, Madam Chair, I agree with you. If you just reach out to us offline, and we'll have communication with you based on your extensive knowledge and to see where we should go forward. So if you just reach out, include Chair Watson's request as far as what you just stated, and we will follow up with the appropriate committees and branches of the state government. Thank you. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Do we have other questions from members? I think in a similar vein, Mr. Chair, we have the jurisdictions that are 2 or more years behind, and I think we will be discussing what it is we as a committee need to officially do about that, this term, whether we need to do anything in particular. But I do know that it is a concern. Some of these jurisdictions have explanations and are working with Department of Legislative Services, which is great. That's what we want to see. But some do not. And the question is, at what point does the executive director take action for those jurisdictions? And is there anything we can do to assist those jurisdictions in meeting their obligations?
Yes, agreed.
You want to go to the next agenda item?
Okay, so good question. Will we hear from W. Thomas Sides or I know he's on the agenda. Does he have does he have
Sorry
a
about that.
no problem.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, Madam Chairman. On the actual order, does
You're muted, sir.
is there any technical questions that anybody might have about any of the entities? But other than that, I don't have any testimony.
Okay, well, yeah, thank you for that. And so yeah. Okay, so this is where we get to the explanation of untimely audit reports. So we would love to hear from Dorchester County first. And I think on top of the list is the council president, Mr. Lenny Pfeiffer, I believe.
Yeah, Chair Ellis, can you hear us?
Yes, loud and clear.
Okay, very good. Thank you, Chair Ellis, Chair Watson, committee members. We greatly appreciate you allowing us this opportunity to speak with you directly to explain the situation that Dorchester County is going through. If I could, I have just a one-page report. Actually, it was something I read to the citizens of Dorchester County during a council meeting last month that does explain some of this. So what I wrote and read was, recently there's been increased discussion in our community about the status of the annual financial audits of Dorchester County in fiscal years 21 and 22. It is true that Dorchester County has failed to meet the deadlines for submission of these audits. That failure to submit ultimately falls upon the shoulders of the county council, both past and present. The current Dorchester County Council understands this and has made it the #1 priority of our staff. Our staff has been working tirelessly with our independent auditing firm, UHY, a nationally recognized firm, to complete these audits. We have hired independent consultants and contractors to work on this project at the discretion of UHY. We have devoted extra county staff to portions of this audit, also based on suggestions from UHY, but still have not been able to complete these audits. Currently, the county council has been advised that we are 99% complete with fiscal 21, with about 2 weeks still ahead for final submission. These actions to complete the fiscal 21 audit should expedite the completion of fiscal 22 and ultimately 23. There have been numerous rumors and comments as to how Dorchester County got into this situation. Some of these causes related to our delay are putting in place a new financial software to replace our antiquated system, but failing to receive training our staff needed to properly use the software. Inability of this new software to import and export data in commonly used formats. Loss of key personnel in our finance office and county manager. Dorchester County suffers constantly from being able to recruit and retain quality staff due to our limited tax base and available payroll funding. Residency requirements for the county manager and director of finance also continue to play a role in finding good candidates, but this is mandated by county charter. COVID-19, initiating safeguards for our staff and citizens led to a backlog of daily, weekly, and monthly duties. Dorchester County was hacked in 2020, and all data and emails held hostage by ransomware. The county was forced to destroy 24 data servers to prevent release of personal data of our citizens. The destruction of these servers was a decision based upon suggestion from our insurance carrier, local, state, and federal law enforcement agencies. All necessary data had to be hand entered into the system, new servers, from paper documents and storage. But all of our emails and some data was lost forever. The citizens of Dorchester County should rest assured knowing that our independent auditors have found no money missing and no criminal activity. The county has continued to pay all bills, debts, and obligations. We are still in good relation with all of our local banks. Our staff and council have been in communication with the Office of the Governor, Comptroller, and Legislative Budget Office to keep them abreast of our current status. Additionally, a second audit firm has been hired to assist and expedite the completion of our fiscal 22 and 23 audits. The county has also contracted with the National Government Finance Officers Association to do a detailed study of our finance department to ensure we have all possible best practices in place as we move forward in time. We ask that our citizens, stakeholders, and the public please bear with us as we put forward all energy necessary to bring our status to current and learn from events of the past. So that is a brief explanation of some of the events. With me in the room also is Interim County Manager Jeff Powell and our Finance Director Karen Tolley. I'd like to turn it over to Ms. Tolley at this time, if it's okay.
Thank you, Lenny, and thank you, distinguished guests and honorable members. We are happy to report that we did just finish up FY21 audit, so that is now over to OLA and also posted externally on our website, available for public reading and viewing. And so we've been, as you've heard from Councilman Pfeffer, we've been very transparent about our progress thus far, and we're actually very excited about the aggressive movements that we've been making and taking to narrow this gap. So with 21 behind us, we are heavily concentrating on FY22 and 23. We're working somewhat in tandem to get those done, but 22, that is still a few months away, and without publication until the spring of 2024. But we are doing everything we can in our power to make those movements. And what is great about this is the fact that we are constantly writing and redeveloping our standard operating procedures as we go along. So as these reports go forward, we'll be in a better footing as a result of coming out of this, because we are shoring up all of our internal controls, rewriting all of our standard operating policies and procedures as we go along, so that we can be in a better position coming out of this.
Jeff, did you have anything?
I don't have anything to add. I mean, that pretty much covers it. The only thing I would say, we're doing everything possible to make sure this does not happen again. I mean, you know, Karen and I came on in January. Karen came on about 2 months ago, and with the full support of the elected council to fix this, make sure it doesn't happen again, make sure the procedures are in place, and the staff, kind of like the comptroller was talking earlier, you know, we suffered from a real lack of the right skilled people in the right seats to move this forward, and then the software and the turnover, other issues, it just piled on, and it's unfortunate, but we are moving very forward and very aware of the seriousness of this, to not only you, but in the state of Maryland, but to our folks too. And it's, you know, the sad part about it, it's we're here to fix it, but it has really hindered the ability to do some other good, you know, because we're just not sure on where we are and what we're doing. But I can assure you, once we get out of this, you know, hopefully everything will be in place. It won't happen again. So appreciate your time.
Okay, thank you very much. So a couple questions before I open up for questions from members. So first of all, you know, thank you for being here and being candid with us. These issues being hacked, and you know, we definitely understand that quite a few state systems were hacked, and health department, you know, a few years ago during COVID. So definitely we understand that. Question number one, are you working with the State Department Information Technology to do it? So the legislation we passed last year in the Maryland General Assembly require local counties and incorporated entities to really work on their systems, working with the state to really to secure a lot of our systems. And so any action there, and I know that in the public audit reports, we can't disclose the state of our systems when it comes to cybersecurity, because we don't want the cyber criminals to know exactly where we are, what we're doing. So whatever you can disclose to us publicly, please do. And if not, reach out to us privately with that.
Chair Ellis, I can say that after the hacking, we did have our IT staff work with Do It. We changed the complete structure from in-house emails to a secure cloud-based system based on their recommendations. So yes, we have made some changes due to Do It's recommendations, but we still have other things that we need to do.
Okay, yeah, great. Good to hear that you're working with the state to really help you kind of solidify your system. And also, a second question, Mr. President, you mentioned that no funds were involved in the hack, or everything is straight there. So how could you give that assurance, not knowing that the audits are not completed? Because audits, it's a deep dive into the systems, and one of the things that auditors look for is, I believe, evidence of fraud. So can you really give that assurance at this state, as far as the uncompleted audits, that everything is okay? I'm not sure of how you were able to get to that conclusion.
I understand your concern, Chair Ellis. Yes, sir. I should have rephrased that as up to this point. Up to this point, you've had no indications from our independent auditor or within any of our staff as well that there's any type of criminal activity or any kind of loss.
Okay, great. And what's the nature of the 2021 audit opinion? Do you have that readily available for us?
Yes, sir. That is already published on our website for public viewing, as well as the fiscal report.
Yeah.
The only thing that's not completed is the single audit.
Yeah. So basically, what's the auditor's opinion as far as unqualified, meaning no problems, everything is done according to accepted principles, or are you? I don't want to technical with you.
I'll let the finance director.
Yeah, we had quite a bit of lacking of internal controls, but pretty much I was pleasantly surprised that yes, we did come away with a clean audit. So that was great to hear. Absolutely. So
Right.
Up to date, there has been absolutely no fraudulent activity, but as a result, I do want to add one thing, but if I may, as a result of all this heightened awareness of FY21, the auditors extended their testing for us, and that actually caused additional delays to us. We would have published 3 to 4 weeks earlier and probably not shown up on here as 2 years behind had we not had that external and additional testing. So the reason I say that is as you're reviewing all of these actions that you're totally within your law and your outlook to do, I would ask that you not withhold funds from Dorchester County or take other penalty action off on us, because it would just further or delay getting the work done. I think we've been trying to be very transparent and good stewards of our financial funding, and we continue to do so, and our auditors also think so. So that's what we would ask.
Well, thank you so much. And so definitely that wouldn't be our recommendation. You know, we're here to work with you to really take care of our citizens throughout Maryland. So we're here to work with you to understand, to help everyone become compliant. And we understand the challenges from COVID and from hacks and ransomware. And so we're here to work with you. And so definitely we will continue to stay abreast of what's going on. Delegate Chair Watson, do you have any questions?
No.
Or any members, any questions for Mr. Council President Pfeiffer or Dorchester County officials? Okay, well, thank you very much and appreciate you being here and look forward to working with you, and reach out to us if you have any concerns or anything we should know to kind of help you get over this challenging point.
Well, again, thank you to both chairs and the committee members again for allowing us this opportunity. Anytime you have any question in regards to anything that's going on, please do not hesitate to contact this office. We will get you anything that you need so we continue with this communication to move forward.
Great.
Chair, would you like us to stay on the meeting, or is it okay to step off at this time, or?
Well, it's totally up to you. You can stay on, or want to listen to some of the other issues. You're welcome to stay, or we understand you're very, very busy and you have a lot of stuff going on in your county. So your choice.
Thank you very much.
Thanks, sir.
Have a wonderful day. Thank you.
And you too. Thank you. Okay, Town of Forest Heights, Mayor Troy Lilly, and is Mayor Lilly here?
Yes, I am, Senator Ellis.
Okay, and we realize, well, I realize you're brand new, I believe, as a mayor in the town of Forest Heights. So go ahead and tell us about what's going on in the town of Forest Heights, please, Mayor.
Yes, sir. Good afternoon, Senator Ellis, Delegate Watson, ladies and gentlemen of this important committee. I want to address, very frankly, my town's late submission of our audit reports for fiscal year 2021 and fiscal year 2022. We acknowledge the importance of adhering to the deadlines, and I understand your concerns as we have fallen behind schedule. But I want you to rest assured that I have taken decisive actions to rectify the situation as promptly as possible. I've hired an experienced financial accounting firm to provide treasurer services and to help with coordinating and supporting completion of this audit for the town of Forest Heights. This firm has a proven track record of reconciling financial records for other municipalities in our state, and particularly in my county. Their expertise has already made communication and submission of audit requests more efficient. I'm confident that their involvement will ensure timely submission of our audit reports, those that are currently past due and in the future. While I am newer in office, I will be submitting a letter to the Office of Legislative Audits next week, vowing our cooperation and also providing a crucial update on our progress toward completion of the FY 2021 audit. And I'll also do so and provide a letter once we begin the FY 2022 audit. It is important for me to provide some context for the delay, as Senator Ellis has indicated. During the period between August 2022 and July 2023, the town of Forest Heights experienced multiple changes in the role of treasurer, town administrator, and most recently, the office of mayor. While these circumstances did create challenges for us, they're not excuses, but they are rather vital information to explain why we find ourselves in this position and to give context for the delay. As mayor, I take financial reporting responsibility, the responsibility of expending public funds very seriously. Since assuming office in late June, I've actively engaged in addressing the challenges surrounding the late submission of the audit reports for FY 21 and 22, as well as implementing legislation to correct our oversight practices and our day-to-day financial procedures. In collaboration with the audit firm that we've engaged, the current administration is committed to resolving the FY 2021 audit within the month and ensuring that the FY 2022 audit is closed out by the end of the year. Our plan is to submit the FY 2023 audit in spring 2024 and to deliver the FY 24 audit by its deadline next October. Please know that audit reporting is a priority for myself and for the treasurer. We are meeting regularly to expedite the audit completion process and to fulfill our obligations to the town and its residents. I met most recently with our audit firm last week, and I talked with them specifically about this hearing, about my desire and expectation to close the audit out for FY 2021 within the month. Your understanding is greatly appreciated as we work through these challenges and improve accountability, transparency, and timeliness in our financial reporting. Thank you for the opportunity to address this forum, and I am willing to take any questions that you or the committee has.
Yeah. So thank you, Mayor. A couple questions before I pass it on to co-chair. So who's the firm? What's the name of the firm you've hired? Audit firm.
The auditing firm is UHY.
UHY. Okay, and they have experience with other entities in Maryland.
UHY has extensive experience with other entities in Maryland and nationwide.
Okay, great. Yeah, thank you. And so I'm not really sure as far as you're saying you being brand new, but going back, is there was there an issue with, say, the prior, say, treasurer and audit firms, why those audits fell through? I'm not sure about, the reason why we are here today.
Sure, I'd love to answer that. In preparation for today's hearing, I did talk with the former full-time treasurer, and two things happened. One is that there was a transition from paper reporting and filing to electronic filing at the end of FY 21 going to FY 22. So there was a little bit of a gap between when that process happened and getting past information caught up in that transition. The transition to full digital financial management has occurred since August 2022 of last year. And prior to that, the budget went from approximately $4 million in prior FYs to $9 million during the height of the COVID-19 pandemic. There was an infusion of grant funding, both from ARPA infusions and from other sources, that caused the size of the budget and the scope of transactions to increase from what they had been prior. But the level of staffing remained the same during that time. With the firm that I brought on, not the auditing firm, but the accounting firm that is serving as the treasurer role and helping to coordinate audit support, they have multiple team members, which is one of the added benefits of moving in this direction. So instead of having one treasurer who deals with all of the financial reporting, we have a team of folks so that we're not blindsided, or that we don't have to throttle down our performance if one person is on leave, or even if one person leaves permanently.
Okay, great. Thank you for that. So I'm kind of concerned with not having those folks in place. I know you mentioned the infusion of funds through the COVID pandemic, a lot of federal funds. There are reporting requirements and documents have to send to the federal agencies. Are you having trouble getting those reports to the sources of those funds? Because I don't want that to be a gap that we are not aware of.
No, sir. We have an ARPA project manager who works to report back on the spending of the funds. Okay, specifically great. For those federal grants and infusions.
Okay, great. Thank you for that answer. And Chair Watson?
You've answered all my questions, Mayor Lilly, and we wish you the best of luck getting this cleaned up.
Thank you, Chair Ellis and Chair Watson.
Yeah, you're quite welcome, and we're here to work with you. And so reach out to us if there's anything that we can do to facilitate that process. Next, town of Middletown, financial officer, Ms. Rebecca Bobmeyer.
Hi, good afternoon. My name's Jennifer Falcinelli, and I'm the Burgess Pro Tem. Our Burgess is out of the country. He could not be here today. I do have with me our town administrator, Paul Mantello. And as you just mentioned, Rebecca Steldemeyer is our finance director. So we did submit a letter from our accounting auditing agency of DeLeon and Stang for you to review. Did everybody receive that?
Does not ring a bell for me.
Okay, all righty.
Yeah.
So just an update of where we're at right now. We have our fiscal year 21 audit complete and submitted. And B can address the findings.
So we submitted the annual financial audit to Department of Legislative Services on August 2nd with an unqualified opinion. There were findings associated with that, but it was an unqualified opinion. The findings were essentially the untimeliness of the report, as well as some internal control issues, which we're addressing with that. And we're also submitted the uniform financial report for FY21 on August 8th, and we're currently working on FY22 and have a letter with DeLeon and Stang saying that they will work to get FY22 complete by the calendar year end, December 31st.
Let me just interject and apologize. Yes, we did get that. Our committee staff forwarded it to us, I think just in the last 24 hours. So we appreciate that. And that's what the message was, exactly what you just said.
And I do believe we submitted the audit also, the 21 fiscal year 21.
We did, yes.
Audit. So you should have that if you'd like to see
Right.
that also.
Right. So you've submitted fiscal year 21, you're working on 22, and you're well on your way.
Correct. Yes. With an estimated completion date of December 31st for 22. And they're the same accounting auditing firm is already engaged for fiscal year 23.
And their intentions are to extend, because we will not have FY23 done by the due date of October 31st. So we're going to extend that. And then we'll work on that as soon as FY22 is complete.
Perfect. Do you have any questions, Mr. Chair?
Yeah, thank you, Madam Chair. So I just want to kind of explain to those who are viewing might not have accounting knowledge. When we mention a unqualified opinion, that's an accounting term for the very highest, the very best report. So unqualified is a very good report, audit report. So thank you so much for that. And we're here to work with you as you go ahead and, get caught up with the other fiscal years. Any other questions from any members or comments? Okay.
I'll have one more comment. We plan for this to be the first and last time we ever appear before you.
We like to hear that.
Yeah, great.
Thank you.
Chair Watson, you want to introduce the other last
Yes.
3 or 4?
Let's see who we have next. Looks like from Hyattsville, we have Ronald Brooks with us.
Good afternoon, everyone. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Thank you. Mr. Chairman, Senator Ellis, and Madam Chairman Watson, I want to thank you for the opportunity to address this this group of esteemed officials on behalf of the City Council, Mayor Crossland, City Administrator Douglas. Mayor Crossland could not be here for any comment today due to some personal issues. And City Administrator Douglas is actually en route from a vacation trip. So, but I'm here to give an overview as to where the City of Hyattsville is on our audits. Real quick, in lieu of time, and I know you have a lot on your agenda. I've been here as the treasurer. I came here at 2013, at the end of 2013, the beginning, right at the tail end of 2013 calendar year. When I entered, became the city treasurer, I came in from the Ohio region. The city was behind 5 years in their audits. And typically, as we know, you can pretty much just get one audit done on a fiscal year. I was able to double up on a couple of those audits in the very beginning. Fast forward to today, we are about probably 70% complete of 2021, fiscal year 2021. I have a tandem track going at this particular point in time. We've also started 2022 at this particular time. I anticipate having the 2021 audit completed. I'm giving myself some time here, probably the end of this month. This was the same report that I just gave to the city council on Monday of this week. And fiscal year 22, because it's in tandem. I'm looking to hopefully have that completed and filed, both of those, by the calendar year this year, December 30th. I've informed the council if there's any delay in that due to various reasons. I would certainly reach out to them and keep them informed. We have been transparent with legislative services over the years. They've been very supportive of the challenges. I will again go back in time. Basically, I encountered a 3-person office inclusive of me. A year ago, the council was very gracious to give me the opportunity to fund, or it gave me the opportunity through appropriations to fund an additional position, a finance manager, and that has helped immensely. I'm very confident that in the time frame that I just laid out, that we can conclude 21 and 22 appropriately and move into the 23 audit. I will say, given the city of Hyattsville over the years, the number of transactional activities that have gone on in the city due to development has been challenging for a 3-person office, I must say, and to keep up with the daily load. But on behalf of this council, the mayor and the city administrator, we're certainly committed. I am committed to making sure that the audits are completed and we get back into a standard cycle like all the other communities who are on this list. And so one of the things I do want to mention, coming out of the COVID, we all know that we all took a little bit of a lapse in the reduction in the type of time that we had to get to turn around our late audits. But coming out of the COVID, for the last 5 years, we had the services of Coyne Resnick as our auditor of record. Unfortunately, coming out of COVID and up to December of last year, when they informed the city that they were no longer involved or going to be involved in local government audits. So at that time, last December, I had to reach out to do an RFP, a request for proposal we put out to retain another firm. Currently, we have Lindsay and Associates. Actually, Lindsay and Associates has a history of local governments work within the state of Maryland. And in fact, they have a history with the city of Hyattsville going back some years. And so I'm very happy that we have Lindsay and Associates on board. They were able to step in without a whole lot of ramp up time because, again, they had a prior history with the city of Hyattsville. And so I feel very confident with the firm that we have, again, Lindsay and Associates. And so I wanted to bring that to the committees, bring that to light to the committee. And again, in closing, I'm looking forward to working with the committee and legislative services. Again, we take this very seriously. And my goal is to get us up to speed and up to date as quickly as possible so we can get on our regular and audit cycle as required by the state charter. And I'm open to any questions that you may have.
Thank you for that that report, and we are sympathetic to having to go with a whole new accounting firm and the startup time that takes. And you note sort of a history of late audits, which you have been able to improve on in your tenure here, which is good. You're also one of the largest, if not the largest, you're around 20,000 population, correct, in Hyattsville?
Yes. As the last census, that is correct.
You're the largest incorporated city here, and but you are smaller than Dorchester County. So I guess my point is your work and our work to oversee your work affects more Maryland citizens than any of the others. In fact, some of them are as low as 500 citizens. So we appreciate your work, and we look forward to seeing the results at the end of the year with both of those audits being submitted. Do we have any other questions? I think Senator Ellis is thinking, but I'm not sure he has a question.
I'm always thinking. So thank you, Chair Watson. I wasn't really quite sure why Mr. Brooks Heisel got behind. Is it because, and thank you for being here and for your frank testimony, was it because of the change in orders? Did I think you said Colin Resnick, did they leave because they couldn't, did they complete what they should have completed on the contract, or did they say, hey, we couldn't get enough information to complete an audit, therefore we're moving on?
All good questions. So let me address real quick how we got behind. Again, when I came to the city back again at calendar year 13, we were already 5 years behind, and in a staff of 3 all the way up until probably 2018, 2019, when I added another accountant. And so and typically you can only get one audit done per year. And so fast forward to the day, we're still a couple of years behind. And so then COVID hits. But Coyne Resnick was actually one of the largest firms, I do believe, to do local government auditing in this region for quite some time. But again, it was their choice. It was not due to any lack of support or effort on our part. It was a business decision, as I was told from the principals of Coyne Resnick, that they were going to focus more on small business auditing, more corporate than government. So they made a decision to get completely out of local government auditing. And in fact, the principal partner who oversaw the local government unit for Coyne Resnick actually moved on into another firm to do corporate there as well. And so that's just a recent development. So I will say, leading up to that and with COVID, Coyne Resnick actually did not spend as much time with our audit due to their large corporate base. And I came to realize that, and that we was going to have to make a change. I was actually planning to make a change before they even made the announcement because of that. But that was a business decision on their part. But I feel very confident. And again, with Lindsay and Associates, who have a prior history with the city years ago, and who has a good history with most of the small local municipalities here in and around the Prince George's County. I hope that answers your question.
Yeah, it did. And thank you for that. In the interest of time, if you could just kind of reach out to us with by email or letter, by just saying, okay, the reason why you got 5 years behind, and how you were able to catch up, but why you're still behind. Basically, staff members mentioned how the city has grown over the years, and and it really has, and just a lot of quality establishments coming to Hyattsville. And so we'd love to hear from you offline, basically what the challenges were. Was it salaries for staff or to do all the transactions processing? And just reach out to us with that, because we're curious to know exactly where the problems were. And we want to see if we can do anything in the Maryland General Assembly to help you and others really avert this problem, because we're here to really help. We're here to help to make it more efficient for all our municipalities and state agencies to really be up to date and to be compliant. So please reach out to us, and we'll work with you again to understand and to help you to be compliant. So thank you so much.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, Madam Chairman. Look forward to responding as quickly as possible to those questions. Thank you. And thank you for your support.
Mr. Chair, I believe our next jurisdiction is the city of Seat Pleasant. And do we have City Manager Ojo here? I believe I see her. You can just unmute yourself.
Yes. Yes. Good afternoon, Chairman Ellis, Chairman Watson, and committee. My name is Monica Ojo, and I am the city manager for the city of Seat Pleasant. And on behalf of the city, I want to express our gratitude for your continued collaboration and support as we strive to manage our audits efficiently. And it gives me great pleasure at this time to announce that on September 30th, that we submitted the FY 2020 audit with an unqualified opinion. We are definitely committed to the deadlines that have been set forth and by our city. And as many other jurisdictions have spoken, we have too fallen into some of the same challenges. We had staff attrition, staff retirements. We had moved from a paper system to an electronic system. And we had also transitioned financial systems, making it very difficult for the existing staff to complete the audits. On May 8th, 2023, we did hire a highly qualified chief financial officer who came into our organization with the skills and the knowledge to really ramp up our finance office. Prior to that, we had a contractor that was working on our behalf who had the level skills of an accountant, and we had an existing county manager, an accounting manager that also worked and served as in the position of payroll. Since then, we are definitely on track and committed to meeting the deadline. Since then, we have hired 2 senior finance accountants. And we've also recently just hired a finance assistant for that department. We're definitely committed to completing the deadlines and getting on track successively. We anticipate that the FY21 audit will be completed on December 21st, 2023. The FY22 audit to be completed on March 30th, 2024. And FY23 audit to be completed in June, and then successfully we should be up to date at that particular time. Our team has been diligent and hardworking and has made these audits a priority to be completed. All of the city leadership has been cooperative in assisting to ensure that the chief financial officer had all the resources and additional staff needed to move forward. So as the city manager of Seat Pleasant, I do recognize the importance of meeting the functional financial management at all times. Our council and our leadership are committed to doing that. And we are consistently working to assure that we are compliant at all times. And so at this point, I do have my chief financial officer on the line, Betty Logan, and she will be able to provide further insight with the complexity of our existing audit process. And I thank you very much. Betty.
Okay, thank you, Ms. Ojo. Good afternoon, Senator Ellis and Delegate Watson. Again, my name is Betty Logan. I am a certified public accountant. I'm licensed in the state of Maryland. I am also a retired public accounting partner with well over 30 years of public accounting, financial management consulting experience. Since I have come on board in May of 2023, the city council, mayor and city council and city manager have given the Department of Finance tremendous support so that we can facilitate completing the FY20 audit. When I did come on board, one of the processes which was missing was that prior predecessors did not implement monthly and yearly bank reconciliation account analysis. That's a routine process that any finance department should do. So we immediately started that process, and we were able to complete FY20, as Ms. Ojo said. It was dated, the financial statement dated September 29th, and we submitted them to the Office of Legislative Services on Saturday, September 30th. We continue to make changes and to improve our internal controls and processes to make sure that we work to complete FY 21 audit by December 31st of this year, as well as FY 22 audit by March 31st of 2024, and fiscal year 23 audit by June 30th, 2024. Our goal is to bring the city back into compliance with Maryland audit and financial reporting requirements in the FY 24 audit by October 31st, 2024. One thing I found was very helpful, that the audit firm, Lindsay and Associates, we have weekly meetings to discuss the audit process, to see what it is that the city still needs to do to make sure we meet all of their audit requirements, as well as iron out any particular issues that we can address them immediately. We also have, we instituted, and I think the city had already had this in place, that I meet monthly with the Budget and Finance Committee to give them an update on the status of the audit and any issues or challenges we might be encountering, to seek any additional redress to make sure that we can move forward in the audit process. So as Ms. Ojo said, the city is very diligent in working to complete the audits and bring them in compliance with the state of Maryland audit and reporting requirements. Are there any questions?
Okay, you're on mute.
It's a mute.
Okay, I'm off.
Mhm.
Thank you, Ms. Ojo and Logan. And so I'm kind of, we're here to kind of work with you to make sure we do everything possible at our end to make sure the audits are completed and in compliance. So I'm just kind of curious, when reconciliations weren't happening, and so basically your books were not audit ready, and so they couldn't really, your independent auditors could not do their jobs. So my question is, you mentioned Lindsay and Associates is the auditor. So how long were they the auditor for your town? And was there a change in auditors? And
Yes, I'm sorry. Yes, Lindsay and Associates have been the city's auditor for a while. In FY 2019, they changed auditors. The city changed auditors, and unfortunately, the auditors then were not able to complete the audit, and the city had to re-engage Lindsay and Associates to complete the FY 20, as well as going forward for the FY 21 audit.
yeah, so Lindsay and Associates were the auditors.
Prior
Terms for 2019.
2018.
So, up to 2018.
2018.
And then they left and they came back in 2019, you said?
They came back in FY 20.
20.
Yes. Mhm.
So we're in 2023 now.
Yes.
So for those 3 years, the books were not auditable.
Actually, that's a fair statement, because one of the things that I discovered when I came on board was that the finance department at that time were not doing monthly bank reconciliations and account analysis. We started that process immediately in order to facilitate the completion of the FY 20 audit. Those processes are what we do now continuously, and we've already started doing those processes for the FY 21 audit, because we recognize that we cannot provide the auditors reasonable numbers, good numbers for them to audit when we haven't prepared for the audit.
Yeah, I understand that. So, and you being very new, 2023, a few months on the job, with your tremendous qualifications as a CPA and years in public accounting, I know that you are on it. I'm just concerned, as the joint chair of the Management Public Funds Committee, you had individuals getting paid for all those years and not doing their job, because basically basic reconciliation and not happening for all those years, and so many people getting paid. It's just raised questions about the supervision of the Treasury at the town. And so if you could reach out to us with my point, with a timeline of who was doing what for those from 2018 till now, and say the qualifications of the folks who worked in the treasury for the town and why we had that lapse and why it was allowed. I assume people were getting paid all those years, but the basic functions, financial functions were not happening. And so if you could reach out to us offline with a timeline of basically why and who and why, and so we can basically understand if we need to have maybe legislation to require a certain level of qualifications for people in these positions. And so I don't know, I'm just asking for some answers so we can understand to implement policies, if necessary, at the state level to make sure that those public funds are not eating up all those years and the job is not getting done.
Okay.
Okay, so that's pretty much my question.
Okay,
Chair Watson.
thank you.
I think you summed that up very well. And do we have any other questions from members? Okay. Thank you to the city of Seat Pleasant, and we're now moving on to the town of Sudlersville, and we should have Virginia Albers here, who is the town manager.
Hi, I'm Virginia. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Anyway, I am the town manager for the town of Sudlersville. I have been here since April 1st or May 1st, 2021. I was the previous circuit rider for 3 other towns, and I got a call from the town of Sudlersville. They had an embezzlement, and they came in. It was discovered in April, and the clerk was just come to find out she had gone a whole year and not deposited any cash funds into our account. So the sheriff's department came in and detectives, and they shut the computers down for 6 weeks. They asked me to come on board and try to help them out a little bit, along with a friend of mine, a financial manager, Jeanette Delude. So we just walked into a mess. And she, the clerk took something in the tune of between $30,000 and $40,000. So, and we are a small town. We have 500 residents. So we depend on our water and sewer, and this really put us in a jam. So and by then our auditors, did not want to deal with anything. So not that they had anything to do with it, but we had to seek out, new auditors. So we finally found Langford, Johnson, and Tall out of Seaford, Delaware. They have had our books and our audit info for, we're behind 2020, 2021, and 2022. So we have been working with them for the last 2 years to, get back on the books. This really, like I say, this really put us in a way. We actually we had just received the ARPA funds, so we were able to give the residents 4 months waiver on their bills. It was in such a disarray. We didn't know who had paid, who hadn't paid. So that's kind of where we were left. We've been working with the auditors, and hopefully within the next few months, they're going to get us up and running. We had a lot of files that we had to get to them. Some we had in office, some we didn't. The bank has been working with us to get some of the information that we need. So that's pretty much where we are. So.
Thank you for that report. I note in our chart, we do not see 2020 as outstanding. I wonder
Okay.
if legislative services, is anyone on the phone that can tell us whether that is a mistake or not? Page 6 of the audit reports, legislative audits, does not list 2020.
Well, April 21, the 20th, 2020 would have just been due, correct? And I know it wasn't done, so I'm not sure, but anyway, that's what they're working on is 20, 21, and 22.
Okay.
So we just, deal with them. They're actually located in Seaford, Delaware. We had trouble finding a CPA that would, even tackle this. And we've since climbed out of that hole, and we have a new billing system. We went with the muni billing system that's much more efficient. We don't handle cash anymore. Sorry to say for the residents, but we're trying to get back.
Thank you for that. Chairman Ellis.
Yeah, thank you, Chair Watson. So similar to my question from the previous town, and thank you for your report, Ms. Albers. It's always difficult coming into a situation like that, made worse by embezzlement. And so I appreciate your frankness and showing up and letting us know what was going on. And so a couple questions similarly. Was any auditors engaged throughout the period of time? Because I'm sure for a small town, for between 30 and 40,000 to be embezzled, it would happen over a period of time. And could you don't have to give us the exact answer now. If you could reach out to us and tell us that timeline over the last, say, 5 years, who were in the finance department, who the auditors were, and because we're concerned that folks are drawing monies, salaries, contracts from our municipalities and not doing their jobs. And so there are issues there we need to really understand. And if you could provide that to us offline, please. And also, good question. This money that was proven to be embezzled, were you able to recover any of those funds? Were there any? Did the town require those who handle funds to have any kind of insurance or bonding to basically cover any losses like these?
Well, the girl that was charged, I think we couldn't prove it. She would write a receipt and not write cash or check, and it just didn't come out. Anyway, she was charged. She was found guilty. She has paid back $7,500. So actually we have legit insurance, and we hopefully will recap some of those lost funds. But see, I came in May 1st, so I'm not sure what went on prior to coming here. I know who the auditors were, but coincidentally at that time they had stopped doing audits in small towns. We're a very small town, so we had to seek out. We literally had to seek out another auditor anyway, and it just happened to be the same time. But I can provide some of that information for you as best I can.
Yeah, if you could just go back in the records, and I'm sure you have some records as far as who you're getting paid to do what, and if you just research those records so we can see, the chain of lapses which led to this going on, and we're just working to really plug up some of these holes if they exist. And so if there's anything we can do policy wise, then we definitely want to do it. We just don't want, us to spend this time in this frank discussion and do nothing going forward. So we want to know exactly what caused some of these problems, and if necessary, we can work with you and others to fix these problems.
Thank you. Thank you. I appreciate that. We're kind of a one-man band here. Like I say, we we have one office personnel at a time. So it's kind of, we're jack of all trades here. Like I say, we're a very small town of 500 or less people. So we don't have the manpower here. We do have a financial manager, but she does a couple other towns. So, that's why it was nice that we went to the automatic billing system. So everything is done, reports are calculated, and moving forward, we hopefully are on the right track.
Yeah, thank you so much. And those are issues we need to look at too, because in proper financial controls and accounting, you just cannot have one person doing everything.
No, you're correct.
we need to look at that and see what possible fixes we can put in place for small towns. We understand the funds are limited, and so we need to kind of look, and there are possible recommendations we can have going forward. So thank you so much.
Thank
Madam
you.
Chair, back to you.
Pardon me, Senator Ellis and Delegate Watson. I can answer your question about Sudlersville's fiscal 20 audit. It was submitted to our office on 10/5/2021, and we reviewed it during our fiscal 21 review of the local government audit reports.
Are you referring to the 2020 audit?
Fiscal year 2020 was reviewed during our fiscal 2021.
So it was submitted. So there were only two audits behind?
That's correct.
Okay,
That's good to know.
yes, and
So you
I didn't
learned
know that.
something. Yeah, okay. Chair Ellis, we are at the end of our agenda. Are we not? Wait.
No, there's town of Deer Park, I believe.
Oh, so sorry. Deer Park. Sorry, Deer Park.
That's okay. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay. I'll be quick since we are over our time. We're like the other towns. We were affected with the COVID issue. We have since, actually prior to that, updated our computer system. We remodeled our town hall. We lost some records in that we have recovered. We realized.
Ma'am, could you, we don't have your name here on the agenda, and I don't think could you just introduce yourself, tell us your name, and we need to know who we are speaking
I'm sorry, I apologize.
Well, no
My name
problem.
is Donna Teeter, and I'm the town clerk.
Okay, great, thank you. Sorry for the interruption, please continue.
No, you're fine. I didn't catch that. I apologize. We are working on our audits that are behind. We are hoping to be submitting the 2021 budget here. I'm sorry, not budget, audit here shortly. It's at the auditors. And they've had some staffing problems like the rest of the country seems to be. I mean, I understand that this is, not in the best interest of the town. And, due to different health issues and family issues, I did get behind. But we are working very diligently. I've taken the information for 2022 and 2023 will be going to the auditor's office by next week. So that's where we stand right now. Does anyone have any questions for me?
So you, Ms. Teeter, you're a town of population 300 or so, is that right?
Yes.
Okay. So you expect to submit the 2021 audit soon?
Yes, I spoke with Mayor Dawson last evening, and he had been in contact with the auditor. He had stopped in to drop off some paperwork that he had, and it's almost ready to go to the auditor.
Okay.
To actually be finalized. So I know it should be coming very shortly.
Senator Ellis?
Yeah, thank you, Madam Chair. So I was under the impression that small towns and municipalities don't have to do an annual audit. I'm not sure if could you someone clarify that for us, Mr. Edos? Or you still on?
Hi, who am I speaking with? Lori, this is Martha at Mountain Laurel.
Yes.
And ask, I'm sorry, can you just hold on? Anyone who is on the line, please make sure that your phone is muted.
Okay, thank you. Mr. Hidosa, Mr. Sides, they have requirement for small towns. They don't require annual audit. Could you clarify that for us?
Yes. Small towns that generate revenue less than $250,000 a year are request a waiver and submit every 4 years. But the 250,000 or less it has to be the 4 years prior to current years. So if they have 4 years of 250 or less revenue, they can request a waiver, and we can review and grant a waiver for them.
Okay. So, so the town of Deer Park, would you fall into that? Would they fall into that category, or? Because we were talking about annual audits for them, in a town of 300, you would think would meet this exception. We can look into that offline in the interest of time and work with.
I can answer, Chairman Ellis. They do qualify, but they have to be caught up on their audits before they can request a waiver. So they need to finish and submit fiscal 21, 22, and 23 before they can be approved for a waiver.
Okay, yeah, I'm not sure why they didn't do that earlier, but we can talk about that a little later, because we need to work with our small municipalities to make sure that they do not expend additional funds, additional energy when they don't have to. So let's follow up on that, please, with Ms. Teeter and our legislative audit folks.
Yes, we will do.
Okay, great. Thank you so much. Are there any other questions for members?
Senator Ellis, if I may, I am the mayor of Seat Pleasant, and we have several of our elected officials on the line. I just wanted to let our staff take care of most of what they have to say to you today. But I wanted to assure you that we appreciate you, Senator Ellis and Delegate Watson, and what you're doing and the work that you do. And I want to assure you that this city is working diligently in all regards, okay, to move forward to make sure that we meet all the requirements. And I do relish the opportunity to, as an offline arrangement, so as not to belabor the time, to make sure that there's a full understanding of everything totally in its complete arrangement, because things were capsulized here, that you have a full understanding of what took place and how we're moving forward.
Great, thank you. And so what's your name, sir, and what's your position?
I'm Mayor Kelly Porter.
Kelly Porter.
Well, so I was a newly elected mayor, okay, but been the mayor for about a year.
Okay, great. Well, thank you for being here. We appreciate it. And we're kind and gentle. So even though you took up the time for town of Deer Park, we definitely welcome you being here, and will work with us, and reach out to us offline, please, Mr. Mayor.
Is it Amanda?
Okay. So
yeah, I'll do it.
So any more questions for the town of Deer Park out there? Delegate Chair Watson.
No, thank you. Thank you for speaking up, Mayor Porter and Deer Park and the town of Deer Park.
Thank you.
Okay, so I think we're at the end of the hearing now. I just want to introduce Senator Paul Quarterman on the call. We weren't able to introduce him at the beginning. So thank you for being here, everyone, and look forward to follow up for all the witnesses. We asked for follow-up information, and thank you so much, and appreciate your time, and apologize for going over, but in the interest of getting an understanding, we just thank you for your patience. Chair Watson, I'll turn over.
Thank you, Mr. Chair, appreciate your time, and I just want to give a note of appreciation to the state staff that's helped us throughout this process, the auditors, the legislative analysts, staff, Ms. Kamuro and Heather McDonough. Thank you for being here to help us get through this process and make sure that we're staying on top of our fiscal due diligence and responsibility for the state of Maryland. And thank you all the members for being here today.
Okay, thank you, and everyone have a great rest of your day. Bye.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye-bye.